How to love yourself. Once upon a time, there was a young woman named Maria who felt lost in a world full of expectations and pressure. Despite being intelligent, beautiful, and talented, she could never accept herself as she was. Everywhere she looked, she felt like she wasn't enough. When she looked in the mirror, she only saw her flaws, her weaknesses, and the not good enough voices echoing in her mind. One day, during a peaceful morning, she decided to take a walk up to the nearby hill. The sun was shining brightly in the sky, flowers were blooming, and birds were singing. When she reached the top, she sat on a large rock and gazed at the horizon. Something inside her, a small voice whispered, "You search everywhere, but you can't see what's already inside you." She felt a slight vibration in her heart, as if something was reminding her of something she had forgotten. In that moment, she remembered the story of an old sage she had met years ago, an individual who, despite having gone through many trials, always had a peacefulness in his heart. She had once asked him, "How do you manage to be so calm, so full of love for yourself?" The old man had looked at her with eyes full of understanding and had replied, "I love myself because I see myself as part of the world and the universe. If I don't love myself, how can I love the rest?" His words had stayed in her mind, but like many of us, Maria had struggled to grasp their truth. It was easier to look for love from others than to find it within herself. At that moment, on the hill, as her steps softly touched the earth, Maria began to understand. She had believed that self-love was something to be earned, something that came from accepting her achievements and virtues. But the truth was simpler and more beautiful than that. Self-love wasn't something she had to earn through external accomplishments. It was always there, like the sunrise that doesn't need anyone's approval to rise. Maria began to understand that the first step to loving herself was to truly see herself without filters and without judgment. Not for what she had achieved or how she appeared to the world, but for who she was at her core. She took a deep breath and closed her eyes. In the stillness, she felt a connection to her very existence. Everything she had been through, every joy and every pain, had shaped her and made her who she was. She didn't need to be perfect. She didn't need to compete with anyone. She just needed to be true to herself. She had to look within with tenderness, to accept her weaknesses and failures, to forgive her mistakes, and to be grateful for the lessons they had offered. And in that moment, a sense of peace and completeness filled her. The love for herself wasn't something she had to prove. It was a gift given to her freely, simply waiting for her to embrace it. Maria returned home with a newfound sense of clarity. When she looked in the mirror, instead of judging, she saw the reflection of her true essence. Every part of her, every turn of her personality, was worthy of love. Accepting herself opened the door to a life filled with balance, joy, and inner peace. She realized that love for oneself is the foundation upon which we can love the world around us. And the more she loved herself, the more she could share that love with others. The lesson of the story. Self-love isn't something we need to seek externally, but something we need to discover and accept within ourselves. To truly love the world around us, we must first love and accept ourselves, with all our imperfections and uniqueness.